Good evening, everyone. This is Dr. Praveen Khan, CFO and Chairperson of Golden Idol Conference and Award. I would like to welcome all the participants for the Golden Idol Conference and Award for Excellence and Leadership. I would like to take this opportunity to extend a warm welcome to all the participants, speakers, and other guests for gracing this occasion. I would like to welcome all the prominent leaders from the healthcare fraternity for being here and making this event glorious with your glorious presence. I'm grateful and delighted to all the dignitaries present in this room for giving your valuable time for this beautiful day. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I'll tell you, you all are the leaders and you all have proved to be a role model of thousands of people across the globe through your achievements. And today, we are going to acknowledge your achievements. Today, we are going to celebrate your achievements. Before we go ahead, let me tell you about Golden Idol. It is one of the Asia's leading brand building firm. And when we talk about the award legacy, it is meant to recognize and felicitate top professionals across the globe, from the healthcare fraternity of various sectors and segments, and bring them under one roof. And this is very important how we identify you and how we recognize you. So we have a very intellectual team who do a comprehensive analysis and research. And after a final paper presentation, the winners are born. Moving ahead, I'm very excited to hear and listen to the super achievers present with us today. I'm pleasure to welcome you all to the Golden Idol Conference and Awards, where we are bunch to celebrate your achievements. Thank you, everyone. And moving forward, thank you, everyone. And moving forward, I would like to call uh, Energetic Business Solutions CFO and co-founder for an introductory speech. Over to you, sir.
Good evening, everyone, and a very warm welcome to this Golden Idol Conference and Awards. I, as Faruqi, CEO and co-founder of Genetic Business Solution, it is with great pleasure that I address you today on behalf of my company, a company that stands as a proof of innovation, diversity, and excellence across multiple segments and sectors. Our journey has been one marked by unwavering dedication and determination, commitment to delivering top-tier services in the manufacturing industry, with a strong emphasis on garment manufacturing and energy, thanks to the dedicated and hard work of our 700-strong team, with our chain of operation spanning across Mumbai, Pune, Delhi, West Bengal, and our international presence in Dubai, Oman, and Indonesia. We stand as a global entity offering comprehensive business solutions tailored to meet the unique demand of each market. In the manufacturing industry, particularly in the garment manufacturing, we have not only succeeded but also set a benchmark for excellence. Our success is defined by a deep-rooted commitment to quality, innovation, and customer satisfaction. As we expand our horizon, we remain dedicated to uphold our core value while embracing new opportunities. Our international presence in Dubai, Oman, and Indonesia serve as a testament to our global ambition and our commitment to delivering exceptional services on the worldwide scale. In conclusion, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to all the dedicated team whose hard work and commitment are the divine force behind the Dynamic success. Together, we setting new standard of success and hope to build more change in future. Thank you, Golden Idol, for giving us the chance to be a partner for this prestigious event where professionals and thought leaders share their views and knowledge. And thank you so much for having me. And over to you, Dr. Fareem.
Thank you so much, sir, for your wholehearted welcome. Moving for the event, I would like to call our keynote speaker for the event, Dr. Kanika Sood Sharma, Director and Clinical Lead, Dharamshila Narayan Super Specialty Hospital. Over to you, ma'am.
At the outset, I thank the organization, the Golden Idol Conference and Award organizers, as well as the Dynagesic organization for making me part of this event and asking me to speak on one of the topics which is very pertinent in today's time. I will be sharing a presentation. I would request you to please make me a co-host so that I can share my presentation.
Sure, ma'am.
Or if you can see, can you see? Let me just stop it. No. I'm still seeing your window. Can you see my slides?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I thank you again for making me part of this wonderful event, which always is engaging leaders in healthcare and clinicians who have contributed to the community in their best capacity and achieved beyond their clinical space. So, the topic which was given to me was digitalization in today's healthcare era. And I believe digitalization in healthcare, it is leveraging technology to improve many aspects of our healthcare, be it patient care, be it enhancing, the operational efficiency, or building the data-driven decision-making across healthcare. So it is not just on paper. Now these platforms are navigating through the entire healthcare ecosystem. And if you talk of this healthcare landscape, I will be briefly covering few areas, but majorly the major pillars have been the analytics, the AI, the EHR, and also the telemedicine. So why does it matter? Why it is important, to integrate digitalization into our practice? Clinical fields have had a classical way of practicing. We used to go to bedside of the patient, take down notes, give prescriptions. These prescriptions were handed over to the pharmacist, which were then realized, and the medicines were dispensed, and entire imaging set and the other, ancillary medical fraternities did everything on papers. So we had to bring in digitalization for some reason. Firstly, because the number of patients which we are treating is increasing day by day. So our data keeping by the traditional paperwork has become unmanageable. And the margin of error is much higher when you have unmanageable data set with you. And secondly, now the way community is growing, everybody wants that there should be convenience in healthcare, just like we have convenience in banking or in retail apps. And more so in the era of evidence-based medicine, we also want that all our clinical decisions are backed by some real-time data, which can only be built up if we have digital banking of our outcomes, and we can analyze our results and derive some results out of them and give some predictions. And I think the major push of digitalization came after the pandemic, because that is the time we could understand that yes, it is possible to give care at a remote area from a distance if you have access to certain digital data or some patient wearables or information based on which some form of treatment can be advocated. So as I mentioned, there are a few core pillars of digitalization, which include the electronic health records, practice of telemedicine, adoption of artificial intelligence, usage of the internet of targets and wearable devices, and access to the the cloud data or storage, because when you are digitalizing things, you need major backups to keep your data secure and accessible. And of course, there are certain concerns which surely will be addressed over a period of time. As I mentioned, EHR is something which is first and the foremost, which is really, really important for digital adoption of patient care, because our records, if you see our files, if a patient is being seen by different doctors, you will find different notes in different segments. You may not find the unified medical history at one place. For example, if we talk of our oncology setups, we as radiation oncologists retain our data for our evaluation. Our surgical OT notes will be in some other file. Similarly, our daycare data of chemotherapy will be in some other file. So to integrate the entire thing at one go, to have a unified view of the entire patient history, EHR is required. And when all these data are being compiled, and then this data especially are being furnished towards the insurers or to the service remuneration procedures, there may be delays and errors because you cannot collate all the data, and there may be missing data, and then you have to write explanations that this data was missing. Now this is the data, please release the payment. So that is the need of EHR. And overall, if we look globally, the adoption of EHR is there in almost 78% hospitals worldwide. Though I would say that we haven't replicated the same numbers for our country, but worldwide there is a huge adoption of EHR, which provides one-time longitudinal record of the entire patient database. And the biggest advantage which has been mentioned in the data is that by having entire data set collated at one place, you may reduce the duplication. Sometimes same test may be ordered by two different doctors because of not having access to the previous report. So duplication of testing, medication error, everything goes down. Second element, as I'd mentioned about telemedicine, so now you are able to provide a secure, consultations to a patient who's very far off. There may be patients who may not require a visit to the hospital if it is just a simple blood test which has to be shown after a consultation. Especially if you look at oncology patients in our field, patients come to us for years together. Many a times there is no physical examination required at that particular follow-up. It is just the collation of certain investigations. Maybe a patient who's of head and neck cancer had some hypothyroidism, and there is a dose correction required based on his report. So these virtual tools are allowing you to maintain the follow-up despite distance for longer duration. And another thing which has come in very lately into our practice, if I talk of our hospital, is the integration of digital tumor boards. So tumor boards have been in place in practice for decades, where all of us sit together and make treatment plans for patients. But as I would show you in the next slide, now we have digital tumor board options also. So this telemedicine is further bridging the gap between the rural and the urban segment. It is reducing cost to a lot of patients. So what has brought in this transformation? So I think the major transformation has happened because a lot of hospitals are investing heavily on these digital tools, where now the patient data may be accessible at your fingertips. So this is just an example of our hospital app, which is called Atma, which gives us access even before we come to the hospital. The moment you wake up, you have access to your entire day's, patient who's going to come to you either in the OPD or in the IPD, and you have the ability to put notes, access cross consultations, medicine card at tip of the finger early morning. So even before you reach the hospital, you have the entire patient data available to you, so that by the time you are accessing the patient, you already have your background information, and your clinical decision making is more prompt and faster. And sometimes if it is a critical investigation which is propped up into your app, you can even take a treatment decision right away from your home. You can access your patient's imaging from the app. You can access the blood reports and even the notes entered by the other fraternities, be it nursing, be the physiotherapists, be the floor doctors. Everything is accessible. So that is the beauty of digital in today's time, that you are available to your patient anywhere, or your patient's data is available to you anywhere. So so that continuity of care does not go. So this is what I was mentioning about the digital multi-tumor boards. Now, because of a lot of virtual platforms like Teams, Zoom, you can create entities anywhere. If there's a patient who requires urgent discussion by multiple doctors, you need not wait for a tumor board, which would happen in person. You can schedule a meeting, you can request the pertinent doctors to be part of the meeting, and you can share the entire data to those doctors on the digital platform so that they can have a look at the file, and then you can digitally or connect on a digital platform and take a decision. So that again, fast tracks the timelines and fast tracks decision making. And MDT approach definitely, with the collective intelligence, improves your patient decision making as well. AI, another element of digital, boom is it is really making things move faster in terms of screening. You are getting to pick up diseases earlier, and the early disease picking up is also making the decision making pathway much shorter, rather than patient seeing multiple doctors and coming later on after the lesion either of tuberculosis or cancer has become slightly advanced. So there are digital prediction tools also, especially in our fraternity. If you are having your data, there are algorithms which can give you outcomes of the patients because of the digital information which you have collected over years. It is based on your responses or the results of the patients in the last 5-6 decades that these digital tools can let you know how your patient is going to fare. By just entering certain pertinent clinical information, your ability to predict recurrences with the treatment, without treatment, are more objective. So when you counsel your patients with such objective values, their ability to decide upon treatments also becomes more prudent. So that again is one of the booms of the digital prediction. And AI, I think I need not speak a lot about it, because we all are now, in an era where AI has become part and parcel of our lives. So be it diagnostic imaging, be it identifying that the tumor is shrinking, and based on that, changing your treatment, all that has been made or enabled by the usage of AI platforms into our existing systems. So based on all this, this is how the global data looks like. In the last half decade or so, the adoption of digital health and the growth of digital health worldwide has almost doubled or tripled, and more than 90% hospitals are using some sort of digital platforms to improve their patient care deliveries. A small glance of what is happening in our country. I think this talk would be incomplete without this portion of the talk, because definitely we are living in a very different world. When these EHRs were launched, these are for the developed nations where the discrepancy or the polarization of healthcare is not much. But in our country, as we see, the urban India, which has the maximum buildup of good healthcare infrastructure, has only 27% of population. Vis-a-vis major population is in the rural area, and there the healthcare infrastructure is not at par with what we would see in the urban centers. So this has been a catalyst, behind the launch of these Ayushman Bharat digital missions as well, where a unified digital healthcare ecosystem is trying to be built up. And I think a lot of things have already been placed. We are already treating patients based on this digital mission program. And it is allowing, or it is trying to build an Ayushman Bharat digital account, which would be a unified, unique digital identity where each citizen will have one healthcare record which can be accessible across a lot of facilities, though there are a lot of interface related hurdles as of now. But aim is to have a more seamless access, so that there is no duplication of treatment reports or investigations. So aims are to bridge the gap between the patient and the care providers, and to improve the insurance and the billing procedures, and facilitate sharing of clinical data across the entire healthcare system. But any tool which is coming into the healthcare system has to be validated. You cannot adopt anything which comes to your table. You need a validation, and the workforce also has to be trained. You must understand that doctors have always written handwritten notes. We are in practice of collating our data in a particular fashion. So all these tools which come with templates and a lot of gaps still exist there. So a lot of validation is required, training is required, and entering into the EHR is also a tedious process. A lot of handholding and voice to text, analog solutions and many other things need to be integrated to ensure that EHR can be adopted. Another challenge, which still is partially addressed in most of the EHRs, is the security and privacy issues. And of course, cost is one big thing which comes with these digital solutions, which I think scientific forums cannot discuss, but it is understood that unless you have a financial infrastructure, you cannot implement these digital tools into your practice. So, what the future will look like? The future surely will have a lot of data sharing seamlessly across healthcare ecosystem by these digital tools. But believe me, humans will be the pivot who would be running it. And I think with more, digital platforms bringing the rural-urban divide closer, the equity would be what we would be experiencing in the healthcare practice. So, to sum it up, I would conclude by saying that the future of healthcare is not digital versus human, because a lot of people ask question: is digital or is the AI going to replace us? No, it is digital in service of human care. It is not a replacement of human care. So that is it from my side. I just wanted a short, crisp beginning for this August gathering for the Global Golden Awards. So thank you so much. Over to the organizers.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your all the kind support of our organization. Now we are moving to the most awaited award ceremony, the most dynamic leadership award in research and development. And the award goes to Dr. Mayank Majumdar, Principal Engineer, Neil, Mumbai. Many congratulations, sir.
My this thing is some Mumbai. In Mumbai, it is actually heavily raining, so I was just some network issues happening from laptop. So I have joined from mobile. Thank you for recognizing, and it's my privilege to accept this award. And like over the last 12 years, I am in Mumbai and doing research in the as a research scientist in the offshore and this infrastructure field. So this recognition is not only a reflection of my individual effort, also a testament to the support, guidance, and encouragement I have received from many of my mentor and remarkable people throughout this my journeys. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much, sir. Many congratulations for the award. Our next award for the Most Trusted Healthcare Leadership Award, CTVS. And the award goes to Dr. Santosh Pandey. Many congratulations, Doctor. Most Trusted Healthcare Leadership Award, CTVS. And the award goes to Dr. Santosh Pandey, Chairman, Pancreas Hospital and Assistant Director, CTVS, Senior Consultant Cardiac Surgeon, Pencardia Heart and Multispecialty Hospital Private Limited. Many congratulations, Doctor. We'll move on with the next award. Our next award for the Most Trusted Healthcare Leadership Award, Surgical Gastroenterology and GI Oncosurgeon, Dr. Milind Kirit Akhwani. Many congratulations, Doctor. Most Trusted Healthcare Leadership Award, Surgical Gastroenterology, Dr. Milind Kirit Akhwani, Director and Head, Department of Surgical Gastroenterology, Liver Transplant and Advanced Robotic Surgery, Health One Institute. Many congratulations, Doctor. Our next award for the Most Trusted Healthcare Leadership Award, Laparoscopic Surgeon. And the award goes to Professor Dr. Premanand Patnaik, Director and Professor, Department of GI and Advanced Laparoscopy Surgery, High Tech Medical College, Hospital, Bhubaneswar, Odisha. Many congratulations, Doctor. Most Trusted Healthcare Leadership Award, Laparoscopic Surgeon, goes to Dr. Professor Premanand Patnaik. Our next award for the Most Trusted Healthcare Leadership Award, Radiation Oncology. And the award goes to Dr. Kanika Sharma, Director and Clinical Lead, Dharamshila Narayan Hospital. Many congratulations, ma'am. We request you to please share a few words with us.
Good evening, everyone. And I think it's truly an honor to stand before all of you to receive this award. And I'm really grateful to the organizers and the distinguished jury, for this recognition. And I really accept this award with a lot of humility and gratitude. I believe leadership is not just about titles and positions. It's a purpose. It's a responsibility, especially to inspire your juniors, and also to make difficult decisions with integrity. And I think as a doctor, we all serve our patients with a lot of integrity in challenging moments, and such appreciation always gives us a push. So thank you so much for this honor. I'm really humbled, and I really look forward that I continue this journey of excellence and patient care with equal dedication. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Many congratulations for the award.
Thanks.
Our next award for the Most Trusted Healthcare Leadership Award, Radiation Oncology. And the award goes to Dr. K.S. Krishna Kumar, Head Radiation Oncologist, Meenakshi Mission Hospital and Research Center. Many congratulations, sir. Most Trusted Healthcare Leadership Award, Radiation Oncology. And the award goes to Dr. K.S. Krishna Kumar, Head Radiation Oncologist, Meenakshi Mission Hospital and Research Center. Many congratulations, sir. Our next award for the Most Trusted Pediatric Laparoscopic and Robotic Surgeon. And the award goes to Dr. Vivek Vishwanathan, Assistant Professor of Pediatric Surgery, Consultant Pediatric Urologist and Robotic Surgeon, Dheeraj Hospital and Sumandeep Vidyapith. Many congratulations, Doctor. Can we have few words with us?
Yeah. Thanks a lot. I'm honored to receive this award and this recognition from Dynergic. This has been a very trusted award, and I'm privileged to have received this over the years a couple of times before also. Would love to be part of this award ceremony many times in the future as well if you find me suitable for it. And I hope to be able to dispense and do quality work in terms of pediatric urology and advancing pediatric robotic and laparoscopic surgery to the best of my abilities. Thanks a lot, and congratulations to all the other winners too.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Many congratulations for the award.
Thank you so much.
We'll move on with the next award. Our next award for outstanding contribution in the field of nephrology. And the award goes to Dr. P.N. Jinky, Professor of Nephrology, former Additional Director of Medical Education and Principal, Kurnool Medical College, Andhra Pradesh. Many congratulations, Doctor. Outstanding contribution in the field of nephrology. The award goes to Dr. P.N. Jinky, Professor in Nephrology, former Additional Director of Medical Education and Principal, Kurnool Medical College, Andhra Pradesh. Many congratulations, ma'am. Our next award for the Most Trusted Healthcare Leadership Award in General Surgery. And the award goes to Dr. Madhumita Mukhopadhyay, Professor and Head of Department General Surgery, Diamond Harbour Government Medical College and Hospital. Many congratulations, ma'am.
Thank you. It's a like I'm really grateful to the organizers and the jury for this appreciation. Thanks a lot, and I'm really honored to receive this award. I've been working in surgery for the last 25 years, and the head of the department for the last almost 9 years. So it's a real honor for me right now, and I feel very privileged to accept this award. Thank you so much, organizers.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Many congratulations once again. We'll move on with the next award. Our next award for the Most Trusted Healthcare Leadership Award, interventional pulmonologist. And the award goes to Dr. Amit Gawande, respiratory physician, interventional pulmonologist, critical hospital, Sujay Hospital, and Sanjeevani Hospital. Many congratulations, Doctor. Can we have few words from you?
Hello, everyone. First of all, thank you so much to Golden Idol Awards and Dynergics. Very, very humbly honored to have this award and to select me. A little about myself. I'm Dr. Amit P. Gawande. I've been an interventional pulmonologist in Andheri, Mumbai area for quite some time now. And we specialize in advanced bronchoscopies, robotic bronchoscopies, and many other interventions. I hope we continue this effort of bringing advanced technologies and procedures to our country and our cities. And again, thank you so much for this award. Thank you so much for even selecting me for this purpose. And congratulations to everybody else. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Many congratulations. We'll move on with the next award. Our next award for the most trusted healthcare leadership award, general physician, and the award goes to Dr. Sunil Babulal Jain, consultant and head of emergency and acute care, Jaslok Hospital and Research Center. Many congratulations, sir. Can we have few words from you?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. And I'm truly honored and humbled to receive this Golden Idol Award. And I would like to sincerely thank the organizers and the selection committee, especially for this prestigious honor. And it is deeply motivating to know that my work is valued and appreciated. Something about me, I am been there in emergencies almost for more than 20 years, and I'm at present head and consultant of emergency and acute care at Jaslok Hospital. And obviously, and also I'm an instructor for ACLS, PLS, and PALS. And so this award, it means a lot to me, and it's not just my achievement. Obviously, it reflects support, guidance, and encouragement which I've received from my family, my mentors, my colleagues, and my friends. And so, thank you once again for this honor, and I'm grateful and humbled and truly privileged to stand. And obviously, I like to this award, which obviously inspire me to continue striving for excellence and to contribute in my field in a more meaningful way in the years ahead. Thank you very much, and yeah, congratulations all the awardees.
Thank you so much, sir. Many congratulations once again. We move on with the next award. The next award for Women Super Achiever Award, Program Management and Strategic Hiring. The award goes to Vatsala Saxena. Many congratulations, ma'am. Our next award for Women Super Achiever Award in Cardiology. And the award goes to Dr. Suruchi Pandey, Director, Pancardia Hospital, Senior Consultant Cardiologist, Pancardia Hospital. Many congratulations, ma'am. With this, we come to an end for an award ceremony. I thank you all to esteemed participants. It has been an honor to have you all present with us for the event. Your participation ensure the success of the event. Once again, I thank you everyone for all your kind support. I would like to thank Dr. Kanika ma'am for being a wonderful speaker for the day, for taking time for her busy schedule and be a guest speaker at our conference. Your presence and wise words help magnify our cause in the best possible way. Our conference is a huge success. All thanks to enlightened word that inspires so many people out here. I also like to thank our presenting partner, Dynergic Business Solutions CEO and co-founder, Mr. Azharuddin Farooqi, for all the support and the opportunity to work with him. Last but not the least, to all the participants and award winners, wishing you all a many congratulations. Hope to invite you soon again. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.